All right, welcome to the No Ceilings podcast on the Turtlesmith Network. What's up, Calvin? Again.
I put on a hat today. I'm still not Vincent. Dang.
Not yet. Not quite.
Dang it, man. All right. Well, I'm here again. It's good to see you.
Good to see you too. Vincent, where you at?
Where you at,
Where you at, Vincent? What's up?
What's going on, man?
Shout out to Vincent.
Yeah, man. We love our brother, and our hearts are with him while he's dealing with some things that keep him from being here. But Vincent will be back. Don't worry, y'all.
Ladies, he'll be back. I know y'all like that little eye candy.
I know, right? Hey, I'm gonna put Vincent on Pop the Balloon. I'm gonna see if I can hit them up. I'm gonna send Vincent on Pop the Balloon.
That's funny. I was watching it the other day too. They Glorilla's sister was on there or something.
Oh Lord, man, that show. Hey, low key, that show is a excellent. Like when I look at just how simple it is to produce and how popular it is, and how good the actual process of it is. I'm like, they really hit a bag with that one. Like, you see how many people are copying that and just coming up with their own little version. I think they actually just did a an SNL skit on Pop the Balloon with Dave Chappelle and Ashley Larry.
I'm about to go look at that.
Oh, that's hilarious. You gotta see it.
I love that show.
That's when you talk about just like things that are a lick. That was a lick. They hit a lick on that one. I'm not gonna lie. You hit a solid concept and a great delivery.
Yeah, they had a chick on there with a deep voice.
Oh, and then everybody popped right off. Oh, I kind of felt, man, you talk about feeling secondhand embarrassment for people. Like, there's been so many times I've seen people just walk out there and I'm just like, oh, bro, why'd you come? They finna do you so, like, jeez.
This is not gonna be good for you.
But you know what? It really puts on display for me. Like, I tell my wife all the time, like, look, you stuck with me.
Yeah.
Because when I look out and I see some of these shows and I look at the modern expectations of dating and all that kind of stuff, I'm like, yo, look, if you decide to break up with me and you get with somebody else, all three of us just go together now. It's just, I'm not getting back out here in this mess. Like, we gonna have to find a way to make it work. Bring him in, we'll show him the ropes, we'll show him the rules.
That's funny.
I'm joking. I'm joking, but geez, like, are you serious? The things that people have to go through today just to find somebody to spend their quality time with is crazy to me.
It's definitely not like it used to be.
No, if I had to date under these modern dating standards, I'd still be single. Yeah, I don't fit none of those things people be looking for. Like,
that's funny.
You wanted to be 6 foot? I'm just a little bit short, 5'11". 5'11". I ain't got. You wanted to make 6 feet? A little bit short.
Yeah.
I got 5 figures. I ain't got them 6.
Child, we go together. Oh, y'all funny. You funny. Well, today's topic is all about first impressions.
There you go. First impressions.
Yep. The goal is winning over your ideal customers and keeping them coming back for more. Yeah. Whether you're running a retail store or building an online empire or just starting out, you just want to ensure that you have actionable tips that help you level your customer game up. In order to do that, we are going to talk about first impressions for your business. Why does this matter? Well, they say you never get a second chance on making a first impression.
Nah, you don't.
You know?
You don't. That's the picture they're gonna have in your head.
Absolutely. And if you just take a moment and think about the first impression that you had on any business or any person, place, or thing, I'm pretty sure that you would have a story to tell.
Ooh,
you know?
Too many.
Yeah.
Too many.
And so the first few seconds of just think about walking into a restaurant. The first few seconds of walking into a restaurant, you can kind of make a determination on whether you want to be there or not. What's the first thing that you think about? Does the food smell good?
Yep.
You know, that's the first thing. Is it clean? Does it look clean? I think that's going to be my first one.
Yep.
You know, and so you really have to think about that. At a retail store, is the store clean? Is the layout inviting? I hate going into, I like the idea of having like the secondhand stores.
Yeah.
But if the layout is not right, you can't go into a secondhand store and really start looking for things, because the reality is you don't really know what you're looking for.
You don't.
So you want to have a layout that is, there's a place, and I've got to say this, it's called Uptown Cheapskate.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to Uptown Cheapskate in Edmond, Oklahoma. They have a really nice layout. They have the sizes laid out. They have it color coded.
Yeah.
So you can really go in and find what you need for men and women. And it is a really nice layout for, what is it called? Resale clothing.
Yeah.
So anyway, with that being said, the last thing is friendly greeters. I can't stand going into a store and nobody says anything.
Yeah, that's a real big pet peeve of mine.
Yeah.
I'm a person that I was always like, and I've worked for a few different companies in retail and management, and different things along my journey. And most recently, I would say probably was when I was working for the cannabis company up in Oregon. And one of the things that I really liked about that company was their policy was, when you hear that door chime, it doesn't matter if you can see the front door. It doesn't matter if you can see the customer or who's coming through that door. Within 3 seconds of that door chime, somebody needs to be yelling out a greeting to whoever just came in the door.
Absolutely.
It doesn't matter if you're working with a customer. Doesn't matter if you're stocking the wall. It doesn't matter what you're doing. When that door chime happens, that customer needs to be greeted with a warm greeting within 3 seconds.
And they should. I mean, somebody's coming in to spend their money.
Yeah.
You know, and depending on what store I mean, think about the high-end stores. You know what I'm saying? You walk in and they just kind of stare at you. They're trying to determine if you have enough money to buy whether
you're worth their time. Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't think that's cool either. Everybody should be greeted the exact same way.
You know what? Thinking about it now, talking about how we talk about dating and relationships and talking about store layouts. Hey, yo, pro tip, if you ever trying to break up with somebody, go spend an afternoon at IKEA. That store layout induces nothing but breakups.
Okay.
And if the store layout don't get you, the furniture you take home and try to put together will.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, pro tip, you want to break up with somebody, go to IKEA.
Wow.
No, for real. Have you ever been in one?
I have not. The closest one that we have to here is in Texas, and every time I go to Texas quite a bit, and every time I go, I'm like, dang, I want to go to IKEA, and then I never get the chance to.
So you know how if you're in like a department store, let's say you go to the mall, you're in like what's a still open department store, JCPenney or Dillard's or whatever. Things are fairly open. You know what I mean? Like you can move from one section to the next, in multiple different ways, walking through the racks, whatever the case may be. You can move laterally across the store, horizontally, whatever you need to do. In IKEA, no, there's a predetermined path.
Oh, Lord.
So if I'm only coming in here and let's say the thing that I'm buying is in the first section that you get to, I can grab it, but there ain't no just turn around, go right back to the register. I gotta walk through the whole maze of the store just to finally get around to the place that you check out.
Wow.
And it's predetermined and set up like that. There is only one entry and one exit per room.
You're going to make me go just because I want to.
I promise you, if you go, you will see exactly what I'm talking about. You're going to be walking through them aisles just cackling. Like, this is exactly what he meant. I get it. I am frustrated just being here.
I'm ready to go.
I'm ready
and I can't get out of here.
I'm here by myself and I want to break up with somebody. So
that's funny.
But looking at that is, one of the things is grabbing the customer's attention.
Yeah.
What is your hook? How do you cut through all of the noise in today's oversaturated market? And you have to stand out. Yeah. You just absolutely have to stand out. And so some of the ways that you can do that, eye-catching visuals, a person like myself who, that's my bread and butter. Obviously, I'm going to promote for that. Eye-catching visuals are always a way to go because if you think about the way that you interact with things, it's the things that catch your eye. Those things are the same for everybody else. Clear and bold messaging. a business in itself, or the most successful businesses, solve a problem for people.
Right.
If you're even if you're a restaurant, well, you're solving the problem of somebody not wanting to cook for themselves at night, or, just people not having cooking skills at all. Modern dating again. But what are you doing to address that problem in people's lives, and how are you communicating that to them? And then, this is my favorite one, usually emotional triggers, right? We have seen a mass shift in wealth in this country has moved from a few sectors into a few other sectors. One of those shifts has been from the stock market into the meme coins. And a lot of what meme coins are fueled by is literally fear of missing out. It's just playing on that emotion of saying, oh man, Bitcoin, if I would have got in on that, then I would have been a multimillionaire by now. So now when you come to me with Footcoin, then yeah, I got to jump in on that, knowing that, I don't know if this is going to have a future. I don't know if it's going to be a good investment, but the fear of missing out is enough for me to take my hard-earned money and dump it right into there. And so using those emotional triggers, what can you inspire in that customer to make a buying decision to want to come through your doors?
TikTok does the same. That TikTok shop does the same thing when they do those lives, and they're like, you got to get this before it's gone kind of thing. Yeah, they do that. When you're scrolling through and you're just trying to relax, you're like, oh man, this looks, I think I got to get this because it ain't going to be no more. I got to get this.
R.I.P. TikTok. Got to pour out a little liquor for the homie.
Yeah.
It's back temporarily. I don't know when this episode will actually drop, but right now we are actually going through that whole phase of we don't know whether TikTok is going to be around or not. But that is a great point to use, because that is just showing you what an ever-changing market could look like. And so how do you look at all of these different customers who are going to be beneficial to your business? Well, you have to know who they are. Yes. You have to know how, what categories they fall and what roles they play in the success of your business.
For sure.
So for that, we can look at, knowing your customer type, and the framework of that is pretty much just going to be 5 different types of customers. Scott and John kind of went into this on the main pod. Those customers are going to be your innovators, your early adopters, early majority, late majority, and your laggards. So I'll go through a couple of these, and then I want you to just jump in, tag team with me. Okay. First is going to be your innovators. So if you imagine who your innovators are, if you've ever been on one of those soft open nights for like some upscale new bar, and you kind of walk in there. I've been to a couple of those, in my time, but it's weird. It's a weird feel, because you're going to expect, the typical bar type of thing. And then you walk in and all the tables are filled, all the whole bar, everybody's seated at the bar. Nobody's interacting with one another. Everybody's on their phone, or they're writing down stuff, and they're doing all. These are your innovators. These are the people who are going to come in, and it is their job to make sure that they get the word out and all their thoughts about, what this business is. So going back to the previous step, this is why it's important to have that good first impression. Yes. If you have that good first impression, your early innovators are going to come in, and they're going to sing your praises out to all of their followers, who are then going to become your early adopters. They're going to follow those innovators right in, and they're going to value that leadership. And so you win them by not only taking advantage of the fact that the innovators got them in the door, but you win them by showing that you're a step ahead of the competition. You've already thought about what their wants, what their needs, and what their desires are going to be out of the business that you're giving them to solve a problem. Absolutely.
And then you have people like me. I'm going to be the early majority.
All right.
These are going to be your bread and butter. They need proof that what you're selling actually works, or the food that you have is actually good, and you're going to keep me. Yeah. I'm going to be, I am a creature of habit. So once I find something that I like, I'm going to keep going back.
But you done put me onto some dope stuff too. Like you are 100% that, because when you find something you like, I know that you stick with it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty loyal on that. And then you've got your late majority. Your late majority is going to be people who are a little bit more skeptical, and they're like, They wait for the bandwagon, and then before they decide to join, they've got to kind of check it and see how everybody's feeling about it, see some reviews, and see if that's something that they really want to do, right?
Yeah.
And that's okay. That's okay.
Yeah, you want those people because
Yes.
when that initial rush and that initial new opening and all these phases kind of starts to die out and you start getting into more of your regular business cycle, that late majority is going to be a lot of who helps carry, you into those next few crucial months when the initial business does die down.
That's very true. That's very true. And then you have your laggards. And I remember Scott saying that he's a laggard.
That's me. That's me. I ain't gonna lie.
They are the people who, for a good example, still use flip phones, which flip phones are kind of cool again, thanks to Samsung. But they're not worth spending a ton of energy on. But I would say every single customer type that we've mentioned is important in some way, shape, or form.
100%.
And I feel like once you get the laggards on, they can easily become your early majority. I mean, move up to where they're your loyal customers that are more like those early majorities.
Yeah.
And so I think that it's good to have all of these people. And then I think it's good to get feedback.
Yes.
From all of those people as well. And so that's where we'll kind of segue into like the power of customer service. In each of these stages where all of these customers fall, you still want to make sure that your customer service never changes. It's your secret weapon.
Yeah.
90% of customers are more likely to return if they have a positive experience.
Yes.
And so you can't let that fall off. And I know that, and I'm always here recently, I've been just speaking about restaurants, but that's kind of where my mind goes.
Yeah.
When you think about a restaurant, the first few days, everything's not going to be perfect. So you kind of give them, a pass on certain things. The food took a little bit longer to come out. It didn't taste like you thought it was going to taste. And then you give it another shot.
Yeah.
And then you give it that second shot, and it's like, okay, I think I like it. It's good. The service is still a little slow, but you know that it takes time. If you've run a business before, that it takes time for everybody to get their footing. But excuse me, it's important to know that customer service is almost like, to me, it's still a first impression.
Yes.
And
that's such a huge thing because it really, at the end of the day, a person is going to spend their money with you because they want to, right? There's most likely, unless you just are the one person who has a business that is not repeatable, there's most likely going to be competition, in your local market. And so I'm big on customer service. Like, if you give me fast service, accurate service, hot food, let's stay in the example of a restaurant. You give me fast service, hot food, all this and all that stuff, but I feel like I'm just dealing with a droid or a bot. You know what I mean? Like, there's no thanking me for shopping here or anything like that. It's just, I'm just another, face in their day, versus a person who gives me excellent customer service, but maybe the kitchen's a little backed up and, maybe they're a little bit, just on the slow, or they're just slammed. You know what I mean? Maybe I spend an extra 15 minutes there waiting for my food, but the whole time you're checking in on me. Hey, are you giving me updates and things like that? I am going to feel better about that experience than I will feel about you getting everything right but not giving me anything.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that, the real action steps in customer service, and you want to respond quickly, and these are universal.
Yeah.
Respond quickly, go above and beyond, even with small gestures. They make a huge impact, and then use feedback as a tool for growth. I think that a lot of times, and I'll use this as an example, the either food critics or the people who are just going and, trying out restaurants and giving reviews, doing the reviews. I think that a lot of people take that personally.
Yeah.
And it really is. Sometimes they may come in, with, not the right mindset. They want to come in and just crap on your place because they don't like you or whatever the case may be. But my thing is, I wouldn't think of it like that, simply because they're coming and they're spending their money.
Yes.
They're coming and spending their hard-earned money, and they want to taste your food, and they want to taste good food. One of the people around here, Bree, I think is her name. She's been doing some things, and she's been going to some restaurants, and she's been giving reviews. And
I've watched some of her content recently.
And people have, some people have taken the feedback in stride, and others have not done such a good job at taking the feedback. Either way it goes, it either, boosts business, or it will, create a controversy on Facebook, to say the least. Bit of that too. But, as far as I'm concerned, all publicity is good publicity, negative or positive,
I mean, honestly, that controversy is how I learned her name, and then went to go check out some of her stuff, and then realized, I vibe with her.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so, even like I said, the haters can give you some great publicity too.
Yeah. And one of the ones that I saw that I was really inspired by, she went to Geronimo's.
And
we grew up around Geronimo's.
That's home team right there, man.
She went over there, and from what I hear, she had the next day, after she had tried it and she had posted all of her stuff, that next day, his parking lot was crowded. He had so many people there that they were just, she went back and checked in, and he was just they were trying to keep up with the amount of business that they were getting.
Word.
And so I thought that was really, really dope of her to do that. So shout out to Bree for taking the time to do those reviews about different places around the city. That's dope.
Geronimo's, that's an OKC Eastside legendary spot. If you ever in Oklahoma City, man, slide by there, get you a burger to change your life.
Absolutely.
One way or another, it's going to change your life.
And I also want to shout out one more place, Woo's Wings.
Okay.
On Northeast, she's got a brick and mortar on Northeast 23rd in the same business complex as Scrambled. She always has great customer service. Her food is delicious.
That's what's up.
But she has great customer service. She is always smiling. She responds quickly. She goes above and beyond, and she always takes feedback. And I think that that's pretty dope, and I've stuck with her for some years now. She has a food truck, and she has that brick and mortar.
And one quick little side note that I would like to throw in here too. We talk a lot about, customer service, but how do you instill, or how do you continue to get that great customer service out of the employees once you instill it in them? And to the business owners, bosses, managers out there, you have to create a good working environment for them. That is your job. Your job, yes, is the overall business and how it runs on a day-to-day. But in order for you to continue gaining more business, continue helping more customers, and getting a positive experience to increase the rate of return business, you have to make sure that you're creating an environment for your employees to where they are not being stressed so much by the job that they cannot deliver the proper amount of customer service.
Agreed.
I was, in my day, I've been able to, I've been lucky and been blessed enough to be in some, pretty high managerial positions in different organizations. And I instantly always hit with success. And nobody could ever really figure out in all these different places, hey, we've been working these leads for months, and then you come in and for the next 6 straight months, you're breaking sales records. How are you doing it? Well, I invested in my people.
Right.
I invested in them financially. I invested in them emotionally. I invested in, they know I'm here for them.
Right.
And because they know I'm here for them, they crank out the job that they know I need in order for us to meet our numbers and for me to be able to answer to all these clients and to all of my uppers. So we watch each other's back. That's how we're breaking records, because I introduce an environment for them to be comfortable enough to do their job the right way.
I agree. I agree with
a little side note, but I did want to throw it because we are talking to business owners, and I think that is a very, very important point of just keeping good customer service going. If your employees are happy, your customers will be happy as well.
Absolutely.
But going into the our next thing here is we talk about how we get some of that business, and this is one that some people may think is a little outdated. I don't know what your thoughts are on this, but marketing through cold calling.
Yeah.
A lot of people, and I don't know, maybe it's a generational thing, but this was the way that you got stuff done. You picked up the phone and you dialed a number out the phone book back in the day.
Absolutely.
You've never seen that person in your life.
Yeah.
You just picked up a phone, you saw a name and a number, and you called it.
Yes.
And that's where, cold calling came from. And so it is still a very, very most direct way to connect with your potential customers. Now, there's some ways that you want to do it.
Yeah.
You want to research before calling. So you want to know, if I'm picking that name out of the or picking that business out of the yellow pages or whatever, then let me do a little bit of research on them. Let me see what their hours of operation are. So I'm not calling first thing in the morning or the last thing at day, but when somebody's trying to get out, or first thing in the morning before they had their coffee, or at lunchtime when they're just trying to go get some food. Let me make sure I'm calling at a good time. Know their pain points. Know what they can handle. If you know a little bit about the business, and maybe that 3:00 p.m. is their busiest time of the day. So maybe don't call it 3:05.
Right.
Start with a hook. Going back to our whole elevator pitch. All these steps, y'all gonna notice. Keep repeating one after another. But do something to grab their attention within the first 10 seconds. And then keep it conversational. Don't sound like you're reading off of a script.
Yeah.
That was one of the things that when I managed that call center back in the day, we had two different things where one side was the more experienced agents, one side was the less experienced agents, high school and college kids, right? Well, my more experienced agents, they did better because they didn't have to stick to a script. They were able to communicate all that information, but they were able to do it in their own way, and they were able to make it more conversational. My younger agents, well, they didn't have as much success because the description of their job, they had to stick to the letter of the script all the way down. There was no deviation, and so ditch the script-like tone, and make it a conversation. Talk to them like they're your friend, or your friend that you met 6 months ago, maybe not 10 years ago, but 6 months ago. It should be fine, and treat them that way. And so that's how they'll receive you.
And I just want to interject just a little bit. Make sure that if you're doing these cold calls, you have to know your stuff.
Yes.
Because you don't know what questions you're going to receive, and you don't know if there's going to be, you want to make sure that you know the ins and outs of all of your business if you're calling somebody.
Yes.
Because if you don't, then you're going to lose the opportunity to actually make good on that sale or that follow-up or whatever it is that you're trying to do in that marketing because you don't know your stuff.
Yeah, and if you're in a industry or you have a business that's highly dependent on sales, that is crucial.
Yeah. So I just want to point that out just to make sure I don't just pick up the phone and start calling.
But when you do get into that, that's where we kind of get a little bit into what is the secret sauce.
Yeah.
A little bit of that, everybody got a little bit of,
yes, a little salsa.
I can't tell you everything I put in the recipe. I had to kill that's the secret sauce, right?
Right.
Meanwhile, I don't know if y'all follow that dude, what's his name, Jordan something on TikTok, the one that be giving away all the fast food secrets. Oh, you ain't ever follow him?
No.
Oh, shout out to Jordan. I'm gonna put you up on game. You can go. He'll tell you how to make the McDonald's secret sauce. He give you all the ingredients. He give you all the steps and everything. They said the fast food places got him on the hit list.
Oh, they mad at him. They mad at him.
Hilarious.
The funny thing is, a long time ago, they used to have them recipes that you could print off. They call them the copycat recipes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. But going, the hook in that secret sauce. The fortune is always going to be in the follow-up.
Yes.
I can talk to you and tell you the greatest idea all day long, and then we part ways, and that's the last time you're going to think about that idea. Unless I follow back up with you. Hey, man, remember I thought a little bit more, and I think this is how we can make, or whatever the case may be, but always be creating that follow-up. And why does that matter? 80% of sales, like I said, if you're a sales-dependent industry, 80% of sales require at least 5 follow-ups.
That's crazy.
But 44% of people give up after the first one. Kind of sense that make.
I mean, in reality, that's if you think about people that are starting businesses that are entrepreneurs, how many times do you fail before you actually get something that's substantial that you can keep going?
About umpteen million, like like it is not for it's for the people who have some resolve. If not, then you have at least enough passion and drive to allow yourself to build that resolve. But you're gonna build it.
Yeah.
It's gonna happen.
Absolutely.
You're gonna get them no's, you're gonna get them rejections, but you
Tons
keep
of no's.
doing it. Once it's not about getting everything every single time or you're a failure. If you're gonna be in business, you're going to have to learn that failure is a large percentage of it. It is the small successes that allow you to continue to maintain, thrive, and move forward. Right. But you are going to face a lot of failure. And if you give up right at the beginning or right after the first little no, then go clock a 9 to 5.
And maybe this is an opportunity. I mean, you really need to think about this very early on. Don't wait till you get to this step to do it. But you have to be prepared for rejection. Yes. And so if you have a fear of rejection, you may need to work on that within yourself before you jump into starting your own business.
Tell them like I told my wife, all three of us going to go together now.
We go together.
You ain't going to reject me. All three of us go together now.
That's funny.
But the best practices though, during, on how to do some of that follow-up, be consistent, but don't be pushy. Nobody want to feel like you're stalking them.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like don't be, hey, you had a chance to take a look at that yet? No, I'm at lunch right now. Hey, well, while you sitting in that Benz over there at the Chili's parking lot, can you just go ahead, hey, order for them? Yeah. Like, nah, you don't want to be that person. But in order to do that, use multiple different lanes. Use multiple channels. You can email them. You can shoot them a text message, call them, you know what I mean, and talk them up. Hey, take them out for a lunch. Yeah. A round of golf if you're a golfer, or they say billions are made in deals on the golf courses. Whatever the case may be, you are playing a little bit of please like me here. And so whatever you want to do, whatever you can do to, get more face time in a relaxed environment with that customer, that client, that potential sale, do it. Yeah. As long as it's within your budget, and within your means to be able to do. And then lastly, add value with each follow-up. Like I just said just a moment ago, hey, we talked about this, but now I found a way also we can throw this in that'll help us make more money on this deal or whatever. Add a little bit of value with each one of those follow-ups, because the more the project or the more the business or the potential investment grows, all they're going to see is more potential return on their investment, or more potential return for their patronage. Yep. And so, but that, as far as the secret sauce goes, I mean, that's pretty much it. You want to follow up, make sure you continue to follow up, and don't be pushy, but also don't get pushed out on the first no. Yeah. That's pretty much it.
It's a salesman, you think about car salesmen.
I did that too for a little bit.
And I feel like there's a way to do it. We're kind of going through this process now as we're trying to get my son a car. And I feel like they try to their goal is to make the sale. And I get that, right? But don't sell me on anything. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? If you want to stay in the game with me, if you want me to continue to keep looking in your line of cars or wherever you're working, I think that you should be doing a little bit of research to find what it is that I'm actually looking for. Yeah. Because I feel like in this particular instance, we kind of got pushed off a little bit. And then once they realized that we hadn't made a purchase, then they tried to get us back. And then the car that we were looking at got sold. And so now they're like, well, do you like this one? Let's stick to the cars that we're looking for.
Funny thing. So shout out to my old sales manager. Or actually, he wasn't a sales manager. He was forget what his actual title was, but he was the guy that was there not to run the deal, but just to kind of work the deal. He was the people person, right? He was a manager, but he was like the people person. His name's Alan Pruitt. And this is when I was working at Lithia Ford in Boise, Idaho, of all places. And Alan told me, fresh guy, fresh out of training, because he had a whole training program here. Lithia is like one of the only car companies or car dealerships that is publicly traded. Like it's on the New York Stock Exchange, so they're publicly owned, right?
Okay.
And so Alan told me on one of my first days out on the lot, I was hanging out down by the Super Duty trucks.
Okay.
And he's like, well, you may want to hang out down here closer to the used cars, because, you know, people who come in for these trucks, they kind of know what they going for and da-da-da. I said, Alan, I don't need to sell them the truck. He said, well, what you down here in trucks for? I said, to sell a truck. He said, well, you just said you don't need to sell him the truck. I said, I don't. If he coming here to buy the truck.
Yeah. Yep.
I just need to open the door. Yep. That's all I'm here for, right? He said, well, I like your attitude. And sure enough, a few minutes later, a guy comes and he's driving around the lot. This is my first sale. Driving around the lot, and he pulls up, parks on one of this I think it was a 250, F-250 Super Duty, loaded, like, 15,000 over the sticker loaded, right?
Gotcha.
And he's the big boss man on the job or whatever. He's buying this with company money. He don't care about the features of the truck.
Yeah.
He just got a budget. He got to spend it. And so all I did was pull the truck out for him. He said, you ain't gonna try to sell it? I said, man, you probably know more about this truck than I do. I'm just here to open up the doors for you and see if you want to take it on a test drive. He said, well, here, let's hop in it real quick. I think we finna go on a test drive. Man, we backed that thing out, drove it right up to the front, put it in a parking spot. He said, let's go do the paperwork.
Wow.
I don't need to sell you the truck. You came here for the truck.
To buy a car,
so if somebody's coming into your business, they come in here to patronize you. They could have looked at home. Yeah. They could have looked on the internet. So if they gonna take the time to come into your doors or to ring your phone, then all you gotta do is not mess it up. They there to buy.
Don't sell me nothing junky. I don't want to hear no rattling or nothing. You're looking at a used car, but
all you have to do is just literally be nice. Answer their questions, give them a good experience. You will have a customer for life. All
right. So our action items for this episode are to audit your first impressions.
Yes.
Take a look at your business and ask yourself, what vibe am I giving off? You want to grab the attention of create attention-grabbing content. You want to segment your customer base. You want to upgrade your customer service, revisit your cold calling strategy if you need it for your business, or build a follow-up system. And so in doing all of those things, you are taking a look at everything you need to do in order to add value to your business and keep the customer coming back.
Those are good action items right there. I will say also that when it comes to create attention-grabbing content, here at Turtlesmith, we are now offering services to small businesses where we do help you create some of that content, as well as we're also offering some packages to help you beef up your online and your social media presence. So I think by the time that this episode posts, you'll be able to find some information on our website about what those packages entail, and then you can actually reach out to us and set up a consultation. So,
and that is at
turtlesmith.com.
All right. Well, I'll let you close this out.
All right. Well, today, so we've covered everything from nailing that first impression to mastering the art of the follow-up. Remember, every step in your customer journey or in the customer journey matters. So you show up with some intention. If you love today's episode, please, all we ask that you do is leave us a review, share it with somebody in your network, or DM us your favorite takeaway, or put them in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss a moment of the No Ceiling inspiration. And that's another one in the books, baby.
All right.
So,
thanks for tuning in.
Thank you.